This Good Morning Northwest morning sprint is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is 6:53, time to get you ready for your weekend here in the morning sprint.
Olivia Roberts has breaking news about COVID boosters for all adults. And Destiny Richards is live in Hilliard tracking some slushy road conditions.
Plus, Mark Peterson has what you can expect in the forecast this weekend. But first, we're going to go straight to breaking news. Crews say no one was hurt in this house fire in the East Central neighborhood. Firefighters were called to the house at Altamont and 7th just before 2:30 this morning. They tell us no one was inside the home at the time of the fire, and that's why no one was injured. Investigators are working to figure out how that fire started.
Good morning. We showed you the snow on Mount Spokane that's driving at the very highest elevations. Here in Schweitzer Village, not so much. Things are tapering off there. We're going to continue to see this move east and south out of the region. So by this afternoon, we should be dry. Highs today are going to be into the upper 30s, 37 degrees for Spokane, 41 Moses Lake, and Pullman at 40. And we should have a dry weekend.
Like we've been saying, whether or not you're waking up to snow really depends on where you are. North of Spokane and in North Spokane, lots of snow, lots of slush on the grounds. Here in Hilliard, it's kind of the same thing. You're mostly going to see snow in the grass, on the side streets, a lot of slush on those side streets, and mostly wet on main roads. The cars driving behind me are kind of going the regular speed, but really take it slow, especially if you're driving over that slush. Download the First Alert Weather app to keep track of what's going to be going on throughout the day.
We are following breaking news of several weather-related school closures this morning. Here is a look at which schools in the area are reporting closures or delays today. The Reardon-Edwall, Davenport, and Orient school districts will all be closed. Northport, Mary Walker, Summit Valley, Evergreen, and Valley school districts are all on a 2-hour late start. If you're in Kettle Falls, your school buses may be running about 15 minutes late. You can find this list under the weather tab on KXLY.com.
Loon Lake also closed today, and if you or someone you know is traveling over the Cascades today, Washington State Patrol says change are required on all vehicles unless you have all-wheel drive. It's snowing and the roads are snowy and slushy.
The weather we have in store for today pales in comparison to what happened a quarter century ago today. On November 19th, 1996, a terrible storm encased our region in a layer of ice up to an inch thick. To commemorate the 25th anniversary of the ice storm, meteorologist Matt Gray will take us back in time to witness one of the worst disasters in the history of our region and explain how it happened. We are remembering Ice Storm 96 tonight on 4 News Now at 6.
Well, this morning, millions of people are one step closer to getting an extra dose of protection against COVID-19. We are just learning the FDA has authorized both Pfizer and Moderna's third dose for everyone 18 and older. The final push is now in the hands of the CDC's outside vaccine experts. Today, those advisors will recommend how the booster should be used. They'll hear data about the safety of booster shots and whether people not at high risk for infection need one. Their vote will be non-binding, but it will be considered by CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky before she gives the final recommendation for boosters. We're expecting that to come soon after the panel's meeting, which should wrap up around noon our time. If Dr. Walensky gives it the green light, extra doses could be available for all adults as soon as this weekend.
The 62-year-old murder case of a 9-year-old in Spokane has finally been solved, and we'll learn exactly how today. Candy Rogers disappeared all the way back in 1956 while selling campfire mints, sparking a massive search for her and the killer. The case remained unsolved until now. Today, the Spokane Police Department will reveal who the murderer is and how the mystery was solved after all these years. 4 News Now will be at that news conference, and we'll bring you the details first on the 4 News Now app.
Right now, the U.S. House is convening to vote on the $1.9 trillion social safety net bill. Democrats were hoping to move on the Build Back Better bill yesterday, but Republican leader Kevin McCarthy held the floor for hours and hours talking about it. He holds now the record for the longest floor speech in history. Senate Democrats are still working to get enough votes to pass the legislation if it reaches that chamber.
Your child's school lunches are changing. The supply chain slowdown is making it hard to get certain food at Spokane schools. It can be months before they get food from a manufacturer. Locally, deliveries can be hours late because of the issues. Menu changes happen almost weekly.
Up next on GMA, fraudsters are exploiting a popular payment app that works through your bank. They're using legitimate companies to steal thousands of dollars. Nearly 32,000 people have complained about payment apps to the FTC, reporting nearly $60 million in losses the first half of this year. GMA is helping you spot the scam. We'll be right back.